Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today we have a review of the new 4K Ultra HD Blu-Ray collection of Resident Evil, the complete collection. The Resident Evil films follow Alice, played by Mila Jovovich, a character created for the films. Alice is a former security specialist and covert operative who battles the Umbrella Corporation, whose bioweapons have triggered a zombie apocalypse. Characters from the games who appear include Jill Valentine, Carlos Oliveira, Claire Redfield, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, Leon S. Kennedy, Ada Wong, and antagonist Albert Wesker, the head of Umbrella Corporation, and James Marcus, Umbrella's top virologist. The Resident Evil film series is the highest grossing film series based on a video game, having grossed over $1.2 billion worldwide. So going into this review, I had never seen any of the 6 Resident Evil movies because I've never played any of the games, so I had no attachment to it. The closest I've ever got to this series was watching my friends play the video games, and I wasn't overly impressed with those either. So going into this review, I was dreading it a little bit, and I did dread this a lot while I was watching it. Saying these films are schlock would be putting it very mildly because they're pretty much the dumbest form of action you can possibly imagine. They're repetitive, they're pretty boring, and they're just not very good movies. They're cheesy as hell. They're basically like early 90s movies made in the 2000s and 2010s. Did not enjoy my time with these at all, and by the end of it I just kind of gave up all hope that they were going to be good and just kind of enjoyed the ride. So what we're going to do today is go through each of the 6 films. I'm going to say a little bit about the movie, talk a little bit about the transfers, and tell you if you should pick these up or not. And spoiler alert, you probably should. So here we have the Resident Evil 4K collection. It comes in this cool box set of the Umbrella Corporation logo on the front here, and on the back it says Umbrella Corporation, and on the top we have the Resident Evil logo with the limited edition 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray collection, and then the top lifts off and you have all 6 movies here in their own individual cases. And to start things off, if you want that 4K download code, here it is for all 6 movies. First come, first serve on all of those. And the cases for these are a bit chintzy, and I kind of understand why they did it. It's not a very expensive collection. So here is the original one. Here and on the back, open it up. Here is the artwork. And then here is the second movie, Resident Evil Apocalypse. The third movie, Resident Evil Extinction. The fourth movie, Resident Evil Afterlife. The fifth movie, my favorite of the bunch, Resident Evil Retribution. And then the 6th and supposedly final one, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter. Then you also get this small little book with some information about all the different movies and their special features. And there are a good amount of special features on here too. So if you like the movie and want to hear some information about it, you're in luck. So before we get into the individual titles, all these films are shot, of course, in 4K Ultra HD, and the only one of these that's full screen is the original Resident Evil. All the other ones are widescreen, and all the audio on these employ Dolby Atmos, so that was a cool addition. So Dolby Atmos on all of these, and widescreen on all of them besides the original. Alright, so the original Resident Evil. This is probably one of my favorite of the bunch. It takes place all within the Umbrella Corporation's hive, so it's basically in one location the entire movie. That got a little claustrophobic and a little bit boring and repetitive, but overall this is a pretty generic action movie with some zombies and some pretty god-awful effects. This did look good as far as like a 4K perspective, and the audio is pretty good as well, but the digital effects are so noticeable, it's freaking painful. The effects did not age very well, and this movie didn't age very well at all, but it is one of my favorites out of the bunch, ironically. Next up, we have the second movie, which is Resident Evil Apocalypse. This is another movie that's set entirely in one location, albeit this one's a little bit more interesting because it's in a city, it's at night, and they can roam around a little bit more. This movie's filled with plot conveniences. The Nemesis is pretty badass, so that was cool. And there are some more interesting characters introduced in this. Felt like a little bit of a retread of the first movie because they're pretty much just like, we just gotta survive, we just gotta get out. It's basically it, we gotta stop the infection. And by the end of it, you think they stopped the infection, but spoiler alert, there's 4 more movies, and they didn't, and they don't explain it very well, and this movie is kind of forgettable. Next up in the Resident Evil film series, we have Resident Evil Extinction, and you see me having a peek at the title. That's because all of these have incredibly generic names, and I cannot tell them apart. I couldn't tell you all 6 movies in a row by title if you put a gun to my head, and this movie really pissed me the hell off, because it starts off being like, you know the ending of that second movie and how it was pretty clear cut, and they nuked an entire city to stop the infection? Well, turns out it was airborne and it spread anyway, and the entire world is fucked. So hey, good for you. Thanks for sticking with us. And they introduced another really fucking annoying thing. Cloning is a thing now. So that basically means like if anybody dies, they can bring him back and they can just say it's a clone. And spoiler alert, that happens later. But the presence of Sir Friendzone himself, Ian Glenn himself, who plays Jorah Mormont in Game of Thrones, is the main antagonist in this movie, and he's incredibly charismatic, and his presence in the movie was a definite upgrade for this. Mila Djokovic, throughout this entire series, she's pretty charismatic and she's pretty fun. She's pretty much the only tissue that's keeping this whole thing together. But if I had to think about it, this is one of my least favorite of all the movies because it's just schlocky as hell. By the end of it, it just kind of says, okay, fuck it, we don't know how to end this movie, so we're just going to end it here. And it got rid of Ian Glenn for a few movies, so another knock on this movie. This is probably one of my least favorite of the bunch. And after this movie, this is only half done. Only half done. I don't know how I got through this. Speaking of movies that act like the other ones don't matter whatsoever, we have Resident Evil Afterlife, the fourth entry in this series. And a big topic of the third movie was trying to get to Arcadia, this safe haven in Alaska, to kind of save them, that there's no infection there. But turns out that didn't happen. That didn't matter. So this movie is entirely just Mila Djokovic crashing a plane into a building to save some people. They fight some zombies and eventually get out. Oh, and guess what? It didn't matter. It was all a fake. And now they're pretty much set up to get fucked at the end of this movie because the Umbrella Corporation swoops in on this boat with all these survivors on top and is about to fuck them up. It ends with a cliffhanger and I was like, you gotta be fucking joking. And now, believe it or not, I think my favorite movie in all the Resident Evil movies is the fifth one. This looks fucking awesome in 4K. The picture on here is superb and the story is okay. It's basically just another, hey, Mila Djokovic is trapped in a place. We need to get out of here and stop the infection. That's basically it. But the action here is ramped up. There's some more interesting creatures, more interesting villains, and I enjoyed this one quite a bit. It brought back a lot of the old actors from the original movies because, like I said, cloning is a thing, so they can bring back anybody they want, and a lot of the actors that were in the original ones are more famous now, so bringing them back here adds some extra clout to this movie. I did enjoy this a lot. It sounded great. It looked great. I would recommend this movie, but not on its own because watching the fifth film in a series without any context, you're not going to get a lot out of it. But these movies are about as deep as a kiddie pool, so probably watch it, turn your mind off, and just enjoy some good zombie action. So last but very least, I think my least favorite movie in all the Resident Evil films is the sixth and final one, Resident Evil, the final chapter, because it opens up by basically saying, you know that really good fifth movie and how we ended it kind of awesome with these actors that were going to come back and do one final chapter? Nope. Fuck you, they're all dead. We're going to show you their severed heads, not show you how they died, and basically just explain it away. That was so fucking stupid. I hate this fucking movie. I'm not a fan of Resident Evil, the final chapter whatsoever. This thing can fuck off. The ending was contrived, and it doesn't really end. She's like, okay, we got the virus airborne, but it's going to take years for the wind to blow it all over the earth, so my job isn't done yet. I'm Mila Djokovic. I'm Alice. I'm a badass, and I'm going to open this up for more movies going forward, but guess what? We're going to reboot it instead, and I'm not going to be in it anymore. So this franchise went out with an absolute whimper. Sure, it looked and sounded pretty decent in 4K, but a movie that was pretty expensive to make in 2016 better look decent on 4K Ultra HD, but I was let down by this entry. Ho hum, so what? It's Resident Evil, who cares anyway? So would I recommend the 4K Ultra HD collection of Resident Evil? That's a hard one for me. If you're a big fan of the games or just action movies in general, maybe, because when you average it out, these titles come to about less than $10 a piece. So that's an okay amount. But these movies, from just a movie standpoint, they're trash and they're not very entertaining. I enjoyed a few of them, but most of them I thought were utter trash. So I would say probably stay away unless you're a true fan from these. It's not going to be a recommendation for me. Resident Evil fans, sorry, but you're going to get a reboot in a couple years of this franchise anyway. Better luck next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
No one is immune. Resident Evil.
You're all going to die down here.
You're the swan, you're